A new Elseworld story has dropped. The immortal legend Batman. But what does that mean for the DC universe? Let's talk about it in this video. Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for a new book from the Elseworlds Lines over at DC Comics, Immortal Legend Batman. This book is written by Kyle Higgins with also co-writer Matt Groom, art by Erica Durso. We also have some backup pages by Dan Mora, which, if you've seen some of my other reviews today, or if you're going to plan to watch them, I talk about this is the third book. There are three books this week that have Dan Mora interiors, and that is mind blowing to me as somebody that keeps up with like weekly comics. We also have colors by Igor Monti and letters by Becca Carey. In this book, humanity has broken the barrier between our universe and the universe's shadow. From the void came horrific apparitions that craved nothing but destruction, but from this terror, a legend was born, a warrior who found a way to access the energy that binds our universe and the shadow universe, transforming him into a cosmic dark knight. The immortal legend was named Batman. He fought to keep us safe, but then one day abandoned the war. Though he didn't disappear entirely, now they say he hunts a rogues gallery of monsters born to the shadows. Uh, yeah, this is a very interesting premise for a book. And I think after the first issue, I'm engaged enough to see where this is going. But this is definitely not right up my alley when it comes to a Batman story. There's some very interesting things. The art is fantastic. First of all, let me say, the Ursa's art. I don't think I had ever. It's not a name that comes to my mind when it comes to artists, but it's very dynamic, very stylized. Like a lot of really cool flowing lines, really interesting. There's a lot of, and of course, this is all embellished by Monty's colors, but like this world feels vibrant, feels alive. But when the shadows, creatures, and all that stuff happens and comes, and you can really see the shift and the mood and the tone change. Like even the lines feel heavier and a little bit. So yeah, I'm pretty. If anything from this book, just a new artist to follow because their work is fantastic. So I really like that. The story itself seems pretty straightforward. I think the backup story really helped to gel everything that the book was trying to say because the main story really focuses on one piece of it, not so much the larger universe. So when you're introducing a full new Elseworld like this, sometimes you need a little bit more. But this is an oversized book; it's about 40 pages, so you definitely get the main story, you get the little backup story, and you really get introduced to a full new universe. Um, which the designs of the characters are super cool. I think that's what DC is really counting on. Like a lot of this designs, like if you like, this has a Power Rangers type of feel. It has a Sentai, Super Sentai kind of feel, and it makes sense. Kyle Higgins, Matt Groom, like they've done Power Rangers. They've done stuff with Radiant Black Universe. Um, it really makes sense that they would have some kind of story like this about this cosmic energy, these shadow beings. Like it's all these tropes that we are familiar with, but now twisted through the lens of the DC universe. Also, a lot of really cool variants, including the main variant by Homer, I think, B Homer, and then of course other variants that are more incentives by Matt Taylor, which has a really cool, very manga-like variant, and of course, just so many cool things that are coming out of this book. So I'm very excited to go to my shop and actually pick some of this stuff up. But I think for me, this is going to be a series that I trade weight and then just kind of check in as the arcs. If this is a mini series, then I'll read it when it's all done. If this is a contained story arc, or if it's a multiple arc story, then I'll just read that as we go through. So, yeah, very excited for this. But I definitely recommend you check it out, especially if you're into stuff like Power Rangers, or if you're a fan of either one of these writers as they kind of come together in this. But the art to me, man, what a standout! Great way to introduce a new artist into my periphery. So, if you read this, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Will Wonder Woman be able to get out of this maze, and what awaits at the end of that tunnel? Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Absolute Wonder Woman number 11. This is a new book from DC Comics, written by Kelly Thompson with art by Hayden Sherman, colors by Jordie Bellaire, letters by Becca Carey. In this book, the balance of power inside the maze is tilting with Diana's presence, but 8 mages tilt enough into a full-blown chaos. Chaos is an underground maze prison. That's bad, right? You're right. Man, oh man, this story with the maze has been so much fun, right? We were introduced to Fernand the Bull. There's all these magical things. We met a siren that is being chased around, and then we know that Wonder Woman is looking for another Amazon. And this issue pays some of those things off. Kelly Thompson really bringing the goods here to this story. It's cool. It's very action packed. It's full of heart, and Diana is just such a badass in this world. Like she's normally a badass already, but man, oh man, Absolute Wonder Woman, just bit by bit, every little piece of this story is so much fun. And then, of course, Hayden Sherman drawing some of the most unhinged things you could imagine inside of the maze. But also, we meet other people. We'll just say that. I'll just say that to avoid any big spoilers. We meet other people in the maze, and I think Hayden Sherman does such a good job with drawing some kind of hope in their eyes. Also, all the little flashbacks to little Diana becoming the badass that she is right now are so much fun. Yeah, this Absolute Wonder Woman book is just so much fun. A few weeks ago, the first collection of Absolute Wonder Woman came out, so make sure to go check that out. But man, oh man, if you're not reading this book, you're definitely missing out. I love all the mythology. Also, what surprises await Diana when she gets back out into the real world, if she can get out? What will be the cost? And then what is the villain's true plan here? Why does she need the siren? What does she want the siren? And is the siren even something? I feel like there's more to this siren than we've yet to uncover. So very exciting stuff. I love all the mythology that's being added here. Like I said, every time we see little Diana with interact with these gods and just kind of come up with solutions to problems that really only a child could come up with. It's so much fun. I love this book so much. It's one of the first things I read when we get our books from DC for the upcoming week. So if you have read Absolute Wonder Woman number 11, let me know what you thought about this issue down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Can the Justice League save Doomsday? Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Justice League Unlimited number 10. This is a new book from DC Comics, the mainstay book for the All-In line. And man, oh man, before I get into what we're going to talk about, let's talk about the creative team. This is written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Mora, Dan Mora has interiors in 3 different books coming out this week, which is mind-blowing. We also have colors by Tamara Van Villen. Really, really cool stuff. I love this series so much. I was able to catch up after the We Are Tomorrow storyline and the fallout from that. And now we have the Timekeeper involved in all this stuff. So let's talk about this issue. The Quantum Quorum out of time traveler refugees has issued a warning to the Justice League. Apocalypse is coming. But just as Jor-El cries fell on deaf ears in Krypton, Will the people of Earth be prepared to take on and take drastic steps to save their world? It all comes to a head when chaos and one leaguer is put to the ultimate test. Yeah, this book, so much is happening. Definitely Mark Wade telling a lot of different stories at the same time, which I think is really fun, really interesting. We are still suffering and reeling from the fallout of a lot of things, the absolute power, the all in special, and then, of course, the latest event. So, Dan Mora's ability to draw so many different characters in one single issue is a lot of fun. Also, when the timekeeper shows up wounded, and he's kind of like leaking this time energy, will the Justice League be able to contain that? Why is he there? How does this connect to all the other stuff that's going on in the Superman book? There's a lot of moving parts for the Justice League. And then, of course, you have all these other teams doing their own things. Like, there's like 3 or 4 different stories happening at once. And I don't know how Mark Wade manages to keep everything straight. It was one of the reasons that I chose to do the big event all at once so I could read it all together, because reading issue by issue, it really, a lot is happening and sometimes it's hard to keep up. So I think after this, I'll take a little break from Justice League, wait for my issues to kind of pile up and have this arc play out, and then get back to it. I think that's the most, to me, that's the most efficient way. But at least for me to keep track of things. But because I did want to give you a little bit of a how what to prepare for in this arc. There's a lot happening, big stakes. If you're looking for a book in the DC universe that has big universal stakes, you can check this one out. You can check out New Gods. Both of those books, I think, they have like this world cosmic ending presence all over the place. So a lot of really good stuff. And then with a team like Dan Mora and Mark Wade, you really can't miss. So exciting stuff happening. So if you have checked out Justice League Unlimited number 10, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Superboy Prime is back, but what does that really mean? Can the Men of Steel trust him? Let's talk about it in this issue. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Superman number 29. This is a new book from DC Comics, part of the Summer of Superman as it continues. This is part 2 of the Legion of Darkseid story. It is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Dan Mora, colors by Alejandro Sanchez, letters by Ariana Meher. I mentioned this in my other review. I don't know, it depends on which order you're watching these. But Dan Mora, this is the second, or this is one of the 3 books where he does interiors for in this week, and it is pretty insane. And I'm reviewing all 3 of them, so you can check them all out on the channel. In this issue, Superman and an impossible ally, which I've already spoiled at the beginning, search the future for the lost legion of superheroes. What happened to it, and can it help in the battle against Darkseid's absolute legion? So yeah, in the last issue, we saw that the Legion has been corrupted. Some of its members have been now turned over to the dark side, literally and figuratively. And they are going for the throat. They are not holding anything back. They want to take Superman out, even though they had not really been commanded to. In the meanwhile, Superman wants to go to the future, not only to save whatever remains of the Legion and figure out what exactly happened, but also he knows that Booster Gold is the key to a lot of this. We know that Booster Gold is the key to a lot of this. If you've been reading all the books, and if you checked out the absolute the DC All In special, you know that Booster Gold is a big part of what's going on with these with this Darkseid storyline. This issue was a lot of fun. Once again, Dan Mora firing on all cylinders when it comes to the art. I really love the way that he draws Superman Prime, like his little smirk, his interaction, because Superboy Prime is he's kind of an entity that is, can break the fourth wall, So that's always really interesting when that happens. And then, of course, we get to see some members of the Legion, Cosmic Boy, Brainiac 5, like just a lot of really cool stuff. A lot of surprises, a lot of twists. Not everyone may be who they seem to be, especially when you go to an uncertain future. And I think Joshua Williamson is using that to like the fullest advantage of like who can Superman trust in this issue still. And it may not even be Superboy Prime. There's so many moving pieces here, but Superman will not give up, and that's what I love. That's why I keep reading this series, because I know that Superman cannot leave anyone behind, including his friends that he grew up with. Right, the Legion. He grew up with them when he was a kid. He went to the future, and he did so much with the Legion of Superheroes that he feels responsible for a lot of these things. So if you're reading Superman, let me know what you thought about this issue down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye. The Shredder is back in the pages of comic books, and this time he's got his own series. Let's talk about it right now. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder #1. This is a new book from IDW. I talked a little bit about this book a few weeks ago, maybe months ago now, when I was doing some kind of, I was talking about some of the upcoming books, including Godzilla, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, and also Shredder #1. And while I didn't get to read that far in advance, I did get to read it in advance. So here we are. So let's talk about the creative team before we get into this book. This is written by Dan Waters, who you may know currently from doing Dark Patterns and Nightwing, also the Six Fingers over at Image. Uh, Dan Waters is one of my current favorite writers. Like I really love everything he's doing. Also, we have art by Michelle Bandini, colors by Marco Lesco, and letters by Darian Robinson. This is a very cool reintroduction to the Shredder. You can just jump right into this. You don't need you get enough backstory of where the Shredder or what's been going on with him to kind of figure things out. But this book is full of just a lot of kick-ass action, and then of course a premise of like the Shredder having to hunt down maybe something in the future. So let's talk about this book now. As a dark new power rises from the shadows of New York, so does much darker power return to the city streets for revenge. One of the most terrifying villains in the history of comics is back, and more deadly than ever. Returned forever and changed by a maddening ordeal beyond imagining, the Shredder is a man out of time, betrayed by all those around him, without the Foot Clan, and quite possibly insane. When one of his former Foot prodigies forms their own rival clan with infernal designs on New York, a recovering Shredder must quest deep into the criminal underworld, where enemies both old and new will discover what defiance will bring to them at the end of the Shredder's blades. So yeah, I think I'm not quite sure, but I think the Shredder was in hell for a long time. Um, but I think that's what this book is bringing you. It's bringing you an unstable character that you don't really know what they've been through, but you still know that they are dangerous, and that's really what the book focuses on in the first few pages. The Shredder literally just kind of cuts his way into this building, looking for his prodigy, looking for the person like that's trying to usurp his power and take his place. So it's really fun to kind of follow him around during this. Dan Waters really portrays him as a big badass, and then of course the art team, Bandini and Lesco. They do such a good job of giving you some really cool fights, very dynamic, a really cool new design for the Shredder that you get to see by the end of the book. So this is really just bringing you, I think, everything you would want to see in a Shredder series. You get a lot of action. We don't get to hang out too much with the turtles in this one. This is really just focused on the Shredder, and I think that's fun. I think eventually we'll definitely have to clash with what's going on, but the turtles have their own stuff going on, right? If you've been reading those issues as well. So this is a very cool, welcome addition. The world's changed a lot, and it's really fun to see now that the Shredder is back, how he's gonna act. Um, I think the last few pages of this book are what really sold me on this, but I'm also very interested into what this organization is bringing to the table. That's kind of, if not helping the Shredder, at least having an uneasy alliance, or at least unleashing him on the world. So it's going to be very cool to see where this goes from here. If you have read Shredder number one, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Let me know which cover you picked up, because my goodness, they really went all out. I can't wait to get to my shop on Wednesday and pick something up. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. If you think that you're being mistreated and overlooked at your job, wait until you read Masterminds from Dark Horse Comics. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Masterminds number one. This is a new book from Dark Horse Comics, written by Zach Kaplan with art by Stephen Thompson, colors by Thiago Rocha, and letters by Hassan Otsmane Elhau. In this book, when an ambitious and troubled video game programmer dares to audition for a secret society in the gaming and tech industry composed of cutthroat, genius masterminds that promise to help their members achieve their wildest dreams, he and his rebellious coworker find themselves in a gauntlet of real-life puzzles that quickly turn deadly. Are they truly smart enough to survive the mysterious game of the masterminds? So I went into this thinking that just from looking at some of the previous stuff, that this was going to be like a Squid Games, or like the game, if you've seen that film from David Fincher, type of idea, now kind of updated to the more contemporary world with the tech industry, and it is a little bit of that. But what I really enjoyed about this issue is how we feel when, when we meet our main character. We see somebody that had a lot of dreams and ambitions, and he was able to kind of, with his own ideas and with his own work, kind of work their way out and work in the industry that they wanted to work. So they wanted to make games. They were, and they kind of, they're doing that, and it's like, oh, that's cool. You feel like somebody's achieving their dreams, but then you catch up to the future or the present, and you see that maybe their dreams are not really what they wanted, right? I think that I found that very relatable, as far as like somebody just trying to do something very cool, like maybe make a video game in this case, but their ideas or the path to it is not clear. It's very, it's full of things that just kind of lead you astray from that. And the character being more relatable and trying to almost find a way out of that, it's what really connected with me as I was reading this. So that's very, very cool. Now, throw on top of that all this really cool stuff about like games where you may live or die in this secret society, um, trying to, uh, I guess, recruit members in the worst of ways. I think that Stephen Thompson does such a good job of giving us just the little bits of the story that you need. There's some very interesting paneling, especially in the first few pages where we kind of catch up to our main character. I love the idea that the art really brings the mood into this, right? The coloring, for the most part, although there are some pages where you would imagine it would be bright, like him walking into Blaze Star Games, which is where he works. You would imagine that their offices would be bright and sunny, and then you kind of see that that's not the case. That is all these people kind of crammed together in a room, and even when they get to go and do something very cool, there's still some kind of darkness to this, and I really like that as well. I think it captures the mood of this very well, and the pacing of this book is very interesting because you kind of start digging at the mystery yourself. I'm not good at puzzles or riddles, but there's some stuff in here that if you're clever enough, I think that you can get a little bit of an idea of how the story's going to go. And then, of course, having this reluctant coworker that's kind of trapped in there in this whole thing with our main character, it feels like it's gonna add a little bit of a wrench on the works of this. So it's very cool. It is kind of violent. There's a lot of really gory imagery as well, but I don't think it's anything that is over the line. And then, like I said, there's a really cool kind of puzzle at the end of the issue, which I'm not smart enough or clever enough to figure out. But I'm sure that there's people out there on the internet that have read this and that are already kind of working on it. So that's going to be interesting to see once the book fully launches. So make sure to go check out Masterminds #1. I think you'll really enjoy it. Zach Kaplan is somebody that I really appreciate their writing. I've read a few of their other things that they worked on, and I got to talk to him. Like, if you haven't read Kill All Immortals, I really recommend it. Also, Mindset from Vault Comics is a comic that is tonally very similar to this. It's also about technology. But yeah, Zach has a lot of work, and it's a very prolific writer. And I'm very interested to see kind of where the story goes from here and how long this. I don't even know if this is probably a mini series, but I would not be surprised if this is something that kind of rolls forward even into more. I can see a lot of things being dug from this world of Masterminds. So if you have read Mastermind #1, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Can She-Hulk finally solve the murder that happened in Sakaar? Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Imperial War Planet She-Hulk #1. This is a new book from Marvel Comics, part of the one-shots from the Imperial War. Everything here is tied in to the big cosmic event that's currently going on in Marvel. This is it right here, and I'm very excited. When I got to the shop, this was one of the first books that I wanted to read. So this is written by Stephanie Phillips and Jonathan Hickman, with art by Emilio Laiso, colors by Matt Miller, letters by Joe Caramagna. And in this book, I really love that it almost feels like an episode of Law and Order, but with She-Hulk as the main character. Left behind on New Sakaar to keep the peace, Jen Walters discovers that in this savage realm, what's needed isn't a litigator, it's a liquidator. Fortunately, She-Hulk is accomplished at being both. Yeah, this was a really, really fun adventure. And if this is an indication of what the tone's going to be for the upcoming Planet She-Hulk, I'm very excited for that series. You guys already probably know that I like Stephanie Phillips' work a lot. We review a lot of that work on the channel. And this one, just like I said, it had that combination of like murder mystery and a little bit of crime, but also just like all the She-Hulk shenanigans, right? There is no problem too big for She-Hulk to handle. But when it comes to dealing with, first of all, the 5 wives that were left behind after this murder, the new customs and the new culture of this planet that she's not very familiar with, can she deal with it? Now, of course, as the cousin of the World Breaker, she's more than equipped to handle all this. But it's really cool. I love She-Hulk's new redesign. One of the things that I really enjoyed was I love when books give you like this one-page comic book origin of a character. It's really well done. Just the way that it's presented, it distills a character. It reminds you of a lot of things. Obviously, the writers, they kind of know what's important for the story coming up, so it's really important. Like, it's fun to see what they choose to focus on when it comes to these origins. And of course, the art team just does such a good job bringing this to life. She-Hulk gets a very cool redesign, as I mentioned, based on the work that came out of the Imperial book. But yeah, I think Emilio Laiso does such a good job when it comes to like these shots of She-Hulk just looking very strong, very powerful, very dominant. She has to definitely assert that she is in charge in this planet, because this is the only thing that these, the people on this planet really understand. It is the way, it is their way. I love that she's still trying to figure out what happened with this murder. But the surprising thing is really, the book kind of lays it out for you, and I picked up on a few things, And I knew there was a reason that certain characters were being kind of shown and introduced in this book, but that's not really what it's about. It's really about She-Hulk being she's out of place, she's out of her depth, but can she adapt? Can she survive? And can she keep the peace in this planet until whatever's next? Right? We don't know. If you're reading the Imperial series, we don't really know if the Hulk's ever going to get back to Sakaar or New Sakaar. So that's going to be also very interesting. But yeah, I love this book. Really cool. There's some great variants out there, but I love the design of the very simple, like really good looking design of this main cover. So as always, if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. And please stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye. Is the Black Panther guilty of murder? Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Imperial War Black Panther #1. This is another one of the one-shots, all related to the Imperial event that's going on over at Marvel. This one obviously focused on T'Challa, the Black Panther. This is written by Victor Lavalle and Jonathan Hickman, with art by Cafu, colors by David Curiel, and letters by Ariana Maher. In this book, blamed for the assassination that started the all-out galactic war, T'Challa will first need to survive a brutal assault from the Worldbreaker Hulk and Amadeus Cho before he can even think about hunting down the true culprit. All this while his spacecraft spirals towards certain doom. Sounds like another day at the office for the Black Panther. One of the most interesting things about this event is the Kingdom of Wakanda has become an intergalactic empire, right? It is not just something from Earth. They are now part of this big, like this just vast celestial empire, which I think is really cool, which obviously has a lot of implications for T'Challa. Now, the Black Panther, as of recently, has been more of a street level character. Then he's finally joined up with the Avengers. So it looks like he's kind of regaining and reworking his status back up to being the ruler of this empire. But this is not about that. This is more about what will the Hulk do to him? Because he thinks that he killed his son, right? The incident that kind of kickstarted everything. I think it's very interesting how they kind of approach this. I think Victor Lavalle does such a good job in unfolding this story. And then, of course, Cafu, classic artist. I will say Cafu has a very distinct style. There are some things that I really enjoy when it comes to the fighting and the designs of the characters. But there are a few things that to me feel a little bit more static than I'm used to. But either way, there's some really good stuff here. I love the ideas that are introduced in this book. I love the way that the characters are portrayed. And then, of course, there's a few certain little things, little interactions between the characters that just kind of take this to a whole nother level. But it's a very interesting book. We don't really know the full implications of what all this means, but we do know that the Black Panther is running from the Hulk. So that's the first thing I think we're gonna have to clear up. The Hulk is gonna have to figure out that maybe the Black Panther didn't do it, and T'Challa's gonna have to prove his innocence as to kind of seeing how this goes. Now these are one shots, so this is kind of setting up probably the next stuff that's coming up. We had another one for Planet She-Hulk as well. So these are little things to kind of Marvel putting out there to fill in the world of the Imperial event that's going on, but also to kind of set things up, set the stage for whatever's next for these characters. And I think it's a really fun way to do it. It is also a way to get you to buy an extra book. So, as far as Marvel business goes, that's probably pretty smart because, I mean, they got me, right? I bought both of these. There's a couple more one-shots, one for the Exiles, which is Lilandra and Charles Xavier. So that's going to be very interesting to see how the X-Men or part of that world ties into this event as well. So if you have read this, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Let me know which one of these books you picked up, if any. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Doom from 2099 is coming to the present to confront the Empire of Doom. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Doomed 2099 #1. This is a new book from Marvel Comics. This is a really cool one-shot, and Marvel did a few one-shots this week. But let's talk about the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written by Frank Thierry with art by Delio Diaz and Frank Alpizar. Andrew Dalhouse on colors, letters by Travis Lanham. Really cool cover by Derek Chu. In this book, the future is doom. The world is doomed, but does that include the world that is yet to be? A coalition of the future, including Old Man Logan, Rachel Summer Phoenix, Bishop, the Cosmic Ghost Rider, the Maestro, Deathblock, say otherwise. But will the arrival of Doom 2099 change the odds for the new Sorcerer Supreme? Is he here to back his own self in the past and destroy him forever? Let's find out. So, this was a very unexpected book. I like Frank Thierry. I think he really he's a good writer when it comes to expanding out on the world that of the things that are going on. If there's ever a tie-in for an event, and this is pretty much a tie-in to the One World Under Doom. It's weird that it doesn't have any on the trade dress, that it doesn't have any advertisement for that, because that's really what it is. We are looking at this future version of Doom, and Frank Thierry brings that to life. Working with so many characters. I understand why there was two artists. One of them focuses on the present and the big battles. The other one focuses on giving us a little bit of the flashback to understand who Doom 2099 is and why he's doing all this, the motivations behind them. So I think the book really accomplishes that by bringing the team together. There's some really cool fights, some really cool weird team ups. But man, oh man, the way that Marvel is just kind of like propping up the present time Doctor Doom, it is incredible. I've never seen them be so much behind the villain since maybe Onslaught or Apocalypse back in the 90s. Like it's really incredible to see how much they are, like, he's so powerful, he's so indestructible, and he's being just really attacked from all sides. So that's really, really fun. But this was a great book, really nice pickup. Like I said, it's a cool cover. And I really enjoyed the book. It's nothing too crazy. It's not required reading, if you will, for the One World Under Doom event. But I think if you're a fan of Doctor Doom, you'll want to definitely check this out, because the future version of Doom has a lot more. They've seen more. They've been through a lot more. They know about the future, and that's kind of what really drives them. So understanding that motivation, I think it's really fun. So highly recommend you check this out if you're enjoying the Marvel Comics. I would say this is not something I would just jump into without any knowledge of anything prior, but it's definitely a fun one to check out. So if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about Doom 2099. Let me know if you picked up any of I think there was one or two variant covers that I wanted to pick up, but I felt like the main cover was the one to get. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Mary Jane, Peter, Harry, and Gwen go out to dinner. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Ultimate Spider-Man #20. This is a new book from the Ultimate Universe over at Marvel Comics. This is written by Jonathan Hickman with art by David Messina. Now, that is already an indication that we're not really going to see a lot of the main Spider-Man stuff. Matter of fact, any issue that David Messina draws has really focused on more of the Peter and Harry side of it rather than the Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. This is really just about a conversation between these two couples. So in this issue, My Dinner with Harry Osborn lives. Peter and Mary Jane have another fateful dinner with Harry and Gwen. This is really, really cool. We also have colors by Matthew Wilson and letters by Corey Petit, a main cover by Marco Cecchetto. Um, I like these issues a lot. They do feel a little bit like transitional issues, and knowing that the end is so near, I do feel like, is this something that we really need to slow down? But then you kind of get to it, and it really helps with understanding all the players on the board, their motivations. Right, Harry's back from the dead. Gwen has been revealed to be part of this Mysterio cabal. Of course, Peter is the only one that kind of is playing with all sides, and Mary Jane's been so left out of everything that that's really the main crux. In the meanwhile, we also see Richard hanging out with Uncle Ben and maybe trying to figure out where he's been going wrong because things haven't been going his way as well. It's really fun to see that kind of interaction. The fact that Richard and both of the kids have an Uncle Ben to also kind of rely on. But man, oh man, this is Mary Jane's episode. This is Mary Jane's issue. If you ever doubted that she was involved or a driving force behind this Ultimate Spider-Man world, like you're completely wrong. And Jonathan Hickman really highlights that. So definitely recommend you check this out if you haven't. This is one of my favorite ongoings right now at the time. So I love Ultimate Spider-Man and everything that the team is doing. Like I said, even when I feel like the issues are going to be a little bit slower, they always fill out the world. They fill out these motivations, and I think that's a really cool driving force for the comics. So, if you have read Ultimate Spider-Man, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you picked up some of the other covers or the incentive covers. There's some really fun stuff, but I just prefer to stick with the main covers for this book. And as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. Make sure to read this book before reading the Mephisto. This is Bring on the Bad Guys, Dormammu #1. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review of Bring on the Bad Guys, Dormammu #1. This is the penultimate issue in this series of one-shots for Bring on the Bad Guys. Now, make sure to read this one before you read the Dormammu issue, before you read the Mephisto issue. So they both released this week. Dormammu goes first. Mephisto rounds out the story. So let's talk about this specific issue, though. This book is written by Alex Pagnadel with art by Javier Pina. Eric Arcienega on colors, letters by Travis Lanham. This was a very interesting story because Dormammu is unlike a lot of the other villains. I mean, first of all, he's not human, right? He's the master of the dark dimension. So how would Mephisto connect to him, or how would the story connect to him? And it's very straightforward. This is all really about a follower of Dormammu that gets entangled with some of the stuff that goes on with Mephisto. He's kind of one of the targets for the daggers. So in this book, who dares test the dread of Dormammu? Bring on the Bad Guys takes the mind-bending turn as Dormammu is drawn into a battle across generations. The arcane horrors of the dark dimension come to vivid life as you've never seen them before. But what could possibly move Dormammu to help anyone seeking his aid? It's definitely not a very Dormammu is not a very helpful guy. So anything that would lead him to act on somebody else's behalf, it's a very interesting proposition. I think I gotta say, Javier Pena does so many cool things with the art because there's a lot of surreal imagery, right? There's a lot of magic. There's a lot of big, important things that are happening. Dormammu is portrayed in so many different ways, but when a follower of Dormammu asks for protection against any harm from his childhood, he's been working up to this, and he finally gets it. He forms his own cult. It's a really cool story. Alex Pagnadel has a way to tell these stories that have a bit of a darker tone, a bit of a just a little something that throws you off kilter. That's something that doesn't quite feel right, and I feel that embodies Dormammu very well. Then, of course, seeing how this all clashes and weaves into the larger Bring on the Bad Guy story, leading up to the big conclusion with Mephisto, which was also out this week. Very, very cool stuff. I've been picking up these the covers with Sister Sorrow, but this week I was able to find the main cover with Dormammu. Dormammu is a character that I have not read much of, but it's a very interesting character. I really enjoyed what little we saw of him in the MCU, and I definitely want to seek more stuff. Normally, he's a Doctor Strange villain, but I think in this book we have enough to really throw everything into the mix. And it's a really, it almost feels like a very messed up episode of the Twilight Zone, as we kind of go see here, and Sister Sorrow's role really glows larger, right? Then we also have the backup story by Mark Guggenheim and Michael St. Maria that really ties everything in more with Doctor Strange, Clea, the first encounter of Dormammu. It's all really, really fun stuff. And then, of course, in the how this really plays out with Sister Sorrow being involved, what her role is leading up to this last issue. So, if you've been reading these one shots, I think I have a review for all of them on the channel. So make sure to go check those out. We have Doom, Green Goblin, Abomination, Loki, Red Skull, now Dormammu, everything leading up to Mephisto. So if you've been reading these, let me know what you thought about this one down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye. The big finale of Bring on the Bad Guys is finally here, as we finally get to Mephisto. So let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we are finally at the end. The big blow off episode, the big blow off issue for Bring on the Bad Guys, Mephisto #1. As you can see here, I got the Sister Sorrow cover that they've been doing. Make sure that you read the Dormammu issue that came out. If you're watching this after my other video, make sure to read Dormammu first, because that is does take place before. It builds up to this, and although these one shots work overall pretty well standalone, the backstory, the little backstory, that's what you really want, because that really weaves in everything. So this is written by Mark Guggenheim with art by Alvaro Lopez, colors by Niraj Menon, letters by Travis Langham. Mephisto epic schemes finally come to a fiery conclusion. Victory is in Mephisto's grasp as he prepares to take control over all the souls of Earth. But who is the mysterious figure who stands against him? Guest starring the entire villain lineup of the original Bring on the Bad Guys. We have Doctor Doom, Dormammu, the Red Skull, Green Goblin, Loki, and the Abomination. This is part 7 of 7 of these villainous one-shots. I think this story was really more about the journey than the destination. I had so much fun with the individual one shots. I think I should have actually gone back to read all the little backup stories, because going over these, week after week, because they didn't come out on a monthly basis, but they also didn't come out all together. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I think Mephisto is a character that needs to be explored more. And if this is the seeds for this new character, Sister Sorrow, to kind of start going head to head with Mephisto, I'm super on board. I think Mark Guggenheim laid a really solid foundation for that to happen. And it's always cool to see all these characters interact, especially because Doctor Doom is having a really nice moment at the time. We haven't seen the Red Skull in a while. The Green Goblin is a very different character currently than he is in this book. Loki is always fun because you can really pluck out a Loki from any time in history. The Abomination and Dormammu are two characters that I don't read much about, so I really wanted to get a little bit more. So this kind of gave me everything. It was really fun to see. all the different teams. We got some new writers like Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan, who are new to Marvel, where we also see some veterans like Stephanie Phillips and Alex Packnadel take on some of these characters. So this was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I love seeing the interactions. Alvaro Lopez does such a good job at making things feel really cool. You of course have that big moment of bring on the bad guys. I'll put up better images throughout the video. But yeah, highly recommended. I think what I would recommend the reading order for this. Read all the individual issues, only the main story, leading up to Dormammu, and then before reading Mephisto, read all the little backup stories. I think that to me feels like the best way to. I don't know how this is going to be collected. I think that's going to be actually very interesting because you can also kind of get everything you need to know about the main story with just the little backup stories by Mark Guggenheim. I mean, he's the one that was driving. Obviously, the first issue, the Doctor Doom issue, you have to read that as a whole because that really kicks off the story. So it's a little complicated. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this will be collected. But yeah, we will have all of it. We have reviews for every single issue. There's some really cool covers. Mephisto's such a fun character, I think, for artists to draw and take a crack at. So I might need to go to the shop this weekend and pick up a few extra variants, maybe one of them that actually has Mephisto, because I've been picking up the Sister Sorrow variant covers instead. Since she is a new character, I like seeing all these different renderings. But if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments as always. Thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. From the world of Universal Monsters comes a brand new series from Image Skybound, The Invisible Man, #1. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The Invisible Man #1. This is a new book from Image Skybound. As you can see here, I got the main cover by Danny. I also have the Joshua Middleton cover right behind me. I was really looking for the Rosemary Valero O'Connell cover, which is the one that I used on my short promoting this. But I am very excited to dive into another Universal Monsters series. So let's talk about it. This book is written by James Tynion with art by Danny, who is an artist that I've seen before in some of the DC work. Colors by Brad Simpson. It's a very, very fun book. In the back matter of this, James talks about how this book kind of came to be, right? When Image Skybound got the license for these Universal properties, James Tynion was really kind of getting out of franchise properties and DC comics and superhero stuff. But of course, his calling to the darkness, to the Universal monster properties, was definitely something that he couldn't resist. He began with Dracula, and it's so much fun to see him back again with the Invisible Man. So in this book, Jack Griffin has always been invisible to the people around him, at least in his own mind. But when an experimental breakthrough presents a path to make his dreams of invisibility a reality, no one, not even the woman he loves, will stand in his way. Witness Griffin's legendary descent into madness as his humanity fades away and the monster inside is revealed, leaving only the Invisible Man. I think one of the things that makes this book so interesting is the fact that the Invisible Man is not a monster per se, right? He's just like he starts out as a regular person. So it's really this journey as he dives into that monster that is buried beneath him. Once he finally sheds the flesh, if you will. But in this first issue, we get to know Jack. We get to know the world around him. I like that this is kind of a period piece. So I like that it doesn't take place in contemporary times. So you don't have like all this technology. And as much as I love that 2020 Invisible Man film, I think this has a different approach, a different feel. So it's really kind of cool to see a different interpretation. I've never seen the original stuff. I've seen a few films about Invisible Man, like Hollow Man, and I think that that was one of the more popular ones when I was growing up. But this is something completely different. It really takes a psychological approach to the character. It lets you know Jack's motivations right off the bat, and Danny's artwork is magnificent. Uh, the way that we never fully see Jack as a character in this book is really interesting. We're seeing everything from his perspective, but we never get a clear shot of Jack. We never really get to see his face like with as much detail as the other characters, and I think that's impressive. It's a really fun way to kind of do this. I'm very excited to see how this series plays out. I've pretty much read all the Universal Monster series, even though as far as Universal Monsters, I've only seen the contemporary remakes of stuff. I've never seen some of the original things, but I love these stories. I think Image Skybound has found some great creators to give them the reins of this, like Frankenstein with Mike Walsh and Faith Aaron Hicks with the Mummy. So I think what's gonna happen is once this series is done, I'm gonna do another video covering the full series, but I wanted to do at least one video to kind of talk about why you should be reading this. So, if you have read The Invisible Man, let me know first of all which cover did you pick up. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Let me know what your favorite Universal monster is. Who should be next in the Universal Monster universe? We've already had Dracula, Frankenstein, the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Mummy, and now the Invisible Man. I believe that's all five that we've had so far, but there's so much more. I think the Wolfman is definitely due for a visit. I think that would be a great. I think, and maybe it's already been announced, and I just don't know. But yeah, I love this stuff. Also, if you like James Tynion work, like go check out Exquisite Corpses. That is some incredible stuff. The latest issue has been one of my favorites for a long time. So very excited. A lot of cool things coming to Image Skybound, including a whole new era in the Transformers Energon universe, which we will also talk about. So many good comics, not enough time to read. So as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. The death of Darkseid has left the fourth world in shambles and chaos. Let's talk about it in this video. Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The New Gods Volume 1, The Falling Sky. This book collects issues 1 through 6 of the ongoing current series from DC Comics. All this comes after the events of Absolute Power, and then of course the DC All-In special in which Darkseid has disappeared. He's gone, he's dead, or at least presumed to be. But what is happening now with the fourth world, Apocalypse, and the new gods, and why is there interest in Earth once again? We're going to get into all that. You can also catch me talking a little bit more about this with my buddy Mike and one of the artists in this issue, Jesse Lonergan, over at the I Read Comic Books podcast. I'll drop a link in the description for that. So let's get into it. This is written by Ram V, who just wrapped up a great run on Detective Comics and also has some really cool creator-owned stuff going on. The series artist is Evan Cagle, but we do have other guest artists, including Felipe Andrade, Jorge Fornes. We have a lot, and of course, Jesse Lonergan, as I mentioned. So each issue has one artist that does a few pages as a guest artist. This is used to kind of highlight or maybe do a flashback scene, but Evan Cagle does most of the art. It's really cool. I love this series so much. Francesco Segala on colors, and then Tom Napolitano doing letters. In this book, following the death of Darkseid, a devastating prophecy ripples across the fourth world as a stern inquisitorial force called the Nectari advances on Apocalypse, New Genesis, and Earth. Orion is driven by an impossible order while Mr. Miracle and Big Barda try to protect a mysterious child, potentially a new god made manifest, who might be the salvation or the seed of a greater darkness. This arc really leads us all the way back. Now, I will say, although the arc kind of wraps up itself, the first 6 issues, this is an ongoing series, so we're not done with the story. Um, I got to right off the bat call out the visual imagery throughout all this, not just from Kegel, but from every single artist that was brought in into the each of the issues. To it's such a cool idea, and I talked to, like I mentioned, I talked to Jesse Lonergan a little bit about this, who was on the second issue, um, and he said that Ramby had this idea and wanted to bring different artists, and he pitched it. Editorial was like, let's proceed with it, and it was very cool. Whenever you do something like this, because it really brings out an effect to those pages, right? It makes them feel different. It makes them feel, gives them a different flavor, a different tone. But also, when you go back to the main story with Evan Kegel's main art, it really feels like we are telling, like it's a story that's connected in some ways, but also a little bit removed from the story, so it's easier to keep track of what's going on, especially because some of these characters are new and you may not know them. So whenever they show up in pages, if Evan King was drawing everything, then you may think like, wait, is this a flashback? Is this something that we don't know? So it makes it very clear for the reader, and I really appreciate that. Another thing, just the ideas proposed in this book are so insane. This to me really feels like a distillation of a lot of the great ideas that Jack Kirby had with the Four World. And if you've ever read any of Kirby's Four World, like it's got to be a daunting task for any writer to even want to approach any of these characters. But I think Ramby is not only up to the challenge, but I think meeting it quite well and just going over and beyond, um, of anything that I could have ever imagined. I made a comment in the podcast that taking on the fourth world is almost as kind of like facing the source wall, because Jack Kirby had so much for this, so many ideas that were really out of this world, and it's really hard to bring them all in. But like I mentioned, the team here really does such a good job at distilling and bringing on and really adding their own flair as well. I think Ramby is great with these big concepts, like a lot of his previous work, like Rare Flavors, has a lot of big concept, big ideas, dealing with gods as well. So it's really cool to see. I think he's the perfect writer for something like this. Now, there's a lot of action here. There's a lot of really cool things. I will go into light spoilers just to kind of go over each of the issues. But I love how this really brings back and positions the Fourth World back into DC's current, the cosmic world that DC has. Reintroduces a lot of the things from the Kirby mythos, like New Genesis and Apocalypse, Metron, the Black Racer, High Father, who High Father has been acting very strange, I will say, throughout these 6 issues, and I can't wait to see what's going on. But also bringing in the Nectari as a fresh new kind of big bad, with more multiversal stakes. I love stuff like this. I can't. So I read this individually in the 6 issues, but I can't wait to get to the shop on Wednesday and pick up my hardcover, because this is going to be so cool. All right, you've heard my review. I'm gonna touch real lightly on the first 6 issues to just kind of tell you a little bit about the idea, and then we will wrap up the video. So, the part one in issue one, we get this prophecy of after Darkseid's demise. On Earth, Scott and Barda are still just dealing with being parents, and Orion receives a grave directive that he has to kill a new god that has come on Earth. So, but it is just a child. We do find that out in the second issue, and now. After Orion goes to Scott, to Mr. Miracle, to say, you have to protect this kid from me, because I can't stop myself. I have to keep going with this order that High Father has given. Uh, Chronicler and Metron meet, and they have like this secret history of the second world, which kind of recontextualizes a lot of the threat that's going on right now. And then in the fourth issue, we see the Nectari, as they kind of expand from the ashes of Apocalypse and they head towards New Genesis. So really having all these worlds hang in the balance. In the fifth issue, I think that's the big one, war on New Genesis, and people die. People, there's a lot of characters. There's one character here, Light Ray, who I did not know much about, but this series has made him one of my new gods favorite now. And then of course we see in the sixth issue, we see the Black Racer finally emerge, and then finally the battle coming to Earth as the sky is falling. And that's kind of where the arc wraps up. So very cool, a lot of stuff happening. I can't wait to. I waited to make this video before going on to the next few issues because I did not want to get anything kind of commingled, and really can't wait to see this next volume. I think as of the recording of this, we are about issue 9 or 10. So there's probably 2 more issues before the arc wraps up, the second arc. So I'm very excited to kind of get back and catch up on this, which if you can't go out and buy the issue, or if you don't have the singles, you can always go and check it out on the DC Infinite app. That's the way I read it. But like I said, I can't wait to go pick up my I can't wait to pick up my collected edition, which I believe it's about 24.99 for the hardcover and then 17.99 for the soft cover. But that's pretty good. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff that you kind of get in there. So if you want more of this, you should check out first of all other Ramby works. Dawn Runner with Evan Cagle was one of my favorite books of 2024. So you should definitely check that out. Of course, as always, Tom King's Mr. Miracle. It's a great kind of introduction to the fourth world characters. It was on our DC Essentials list that we just wrapped up. You can go check out that video in the channel as well. So if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.